Hi, my name is Brian Beach. I'm a Senior Technology Manager for Syniverse Technologies. I work in the Next Generation Solutions line of business, and I'll be talking about VoLTE roaming as it relates to S8 home routing.
I'm Farron Oxiger. I am Senior Product Manager in the Next Generation Solutions Group at Syniverse Technologies, and I'll be covering local breakout VoLTE roaming.
So we have a couple of diagrams behind us here. The S8 home routing diagram follows the LTE data path. So it's a very simplistic model. The voice follows the same data, and all of the IMS components, that is everything that is handling the call, the services involved with the call, are all located in the home network.
And for local breakout VoLTE roaming, which was designed by the Ravel group at the GSMA, it introduces what we call an IMS core. And as Brian was mentioning earlier, that the IMS core for S8 home routing is all in the home network. For local breakout, now you have an IMS core introduced at the serve and home network.
Well, if this question was asked a year ago, S8 home routing was not even an option. So a year ago, the discussion was between Ravel, HPLMN, local breakout, and optimal media routing. Since that time, optimal media routing is no longer even an option, and S8 home routing is what everybody's talking about. So in just a year, it's gone from not even been talked about to being the most prevalent model. Now, we're starting to see hints of local breakout coming out as well. But certainly from our perspective, with customer trials, with production VoLTE roaming, and even with operators who initially were very much against S8, we're starting to see that all those things are changing, and S8 home routing appears to be what is currently the most prevalent model. Well, the challenges with local breakout is the complexity involved. There's no doubt that local breakout has the most flexibility and the most power, but it's a lot more complex, which is why right now S8 home routing appears to be winning out. It's much easier, much quicker, but there are problems. So what are the problems with S8? There's a few. Lawful intercept. If the inbound roamer in the serve market needs to have lawful intercept, that's not something that's easily done, at least not in a standards-based way. Emergency calling, that's also something that's, you could say, broken in S8 home routing. And finally, single radio voice call continuity, or SRVCC, is broken. Now, all of those things have caveats. So for example, for emergency calling, they say, well, we'll simply just fall back to cellular. That's fine as long as you have a cellular. What if it's an LTE-only market? For voice call continuity, well, they'll just let the call drop. Well, that might be fine for some markets, other markets may not. And for lawful intercept, they say, well, we'll just let the home do that. But some countries have very strict rules about lawful intercept, so they may not allow that. So these three main issues or holes in S8 home routing are being debated within the 3GPP, and they've been tasked to try to fill those gaps. The complexity model with local breakout, that's just something that's going to take time, and over time, when the IMS cores have been built out, we should see more and more operators migrating to that model.
So some of the advantages for VoLTE roaming using the local breakout model is the serve network for inbound roaming subscribers. They are session aware, so they can have the visibility of the control and media plane of a call session taking place or a video session taking place. And so that gives them the ability to not only provide concepts as lawful intercept and emergency call handling, and being able to do a continuity of the voice call between an LTE network and circuit switch fallback. And then another advantage of using the local breakout is the billing model as you've seen today in the 3G network, is still supported. You can still bill by minutes of use because you're able to produce all the call detail records. Now, for S8 home routing, the advantages there is that it's quick to deploy. You're able to launch the service as LTE data roaming. All the call control and media flows back to the home network, and then the home network then breaks it out to their own IMS core, so they have complete control of their subscriber when they're outbound roaming. Now, another advantage is that you're able to use the same components in your VoLTE packet core. You don't have to introduce new elements to test with. And then on the clearing and financial side, you're able to use your same data IoT charges with your partner networks without having to sign new roaming agreements for IMS interoperability. So on to recap, there is advantages for both concepts, local breakout and S8. Each operator is going to have their own take based off of their CapEx model and OpEx models and what they need to deploy and what their strategy is, but there are distinct advantages on both sides. Syniverse has been involved with a number of trials in recent events, and most of them that we've completed to date have been around S8 home routing. We are now engaging new trials that are using the local breakout concept. So I would say in the early deployments, operators are going to be opting in for probably an S8, where that's where the needle is pointing towards in the near term. However, I think as LTE networks become more ubiquitous and operators are deploying IMS cores and you have more coverage, I believe operators are going to start using local breakout as a possibility. And I do see the equilibrium there coming into scope where both models are supported, and that's where Syniverse comes in to help fill the gap and close those gaps and holes and make everything interop and work.